name is Payal and I am from the Management Study Guides content team. Welcome to the module Project Management Skills. Apollo Inc. is a leading IT giant. Ian Mitchinson is a project manager in Apollo Inc. He is responsible for meeting the clients for every new software development project that comes to Apollo. Radisson Telecommunications, a leading telecom service company, recently came to Apollo to have a new Java-based database software to be developed for them. Ian carefully reviewed and analyzed Radisson's requirements and came up with a project plan. Now, the only thing that Ian needed to go ahead with starting the project and develop the software was the client's approval of the project plan. Ian held a meeting with the clients to discuss the project plan and gain overall approval for the terms and conditions of the project. The client discussed the scope of work with Ian. However, the client was not very sure about several aspects of the software that they wanted to get developed. Ian thought of starting the project with whatever information he had gathered from the client. He ultimately agreed to finish the project as per the limited information provided by them. When the project was under progress, Ian and his team realized that the scope that he had agreed upon are nearly impossible to meet due to several technical difficulties as well as due to lack of clarity of the scope. Ian had to contact the client at every stage of the project development to understand their requirements and gain clarity on the same. Due to this constant to and fro of communication regarding scope and several iterations of the same task, Ian and his team were not able to complete the project as was promised to the client. Due to this delay, Apollo Inc. had to pay some penalty for late delivery. Also, the client added new requirements that had to be incorporated in the software. However, Ian had not negotiated about the terms with the client for any further enhancements or features being added to the software. Hence, Apollo had to incur a loss in the project because the scope of work had increased and the terms of the project had not been negotiated well. Also, Ian's team was forced to work 7 days, even from home, to try to complete the project. Why do you think Ian's team had to suffer? Why did Apollo have to incur a loss in this project? Yes, all this happened because Ian had not handled the project well right from the beginning, where the requirements and scope of the project should be collected from the client in detail and with great clarity. Ian failed to collect the detailed scope of work. He also did not discuss all the aspects of the project, such as change of scope and later additions and enhancements to the software with the client. If Ian had clearly discussed and negotiated the terms of the project with the client and negotiated a complete scope of work, Apollo would not have needed to pay any penalty and would not have incurred any loss in this project. Hence, you can understand that project management is a crucial aspect of completing any project successfully, and it is the project manager's responsibility to lead a project from start to its successful completion. So you can see that project management skills are a must for a project manager to succeed in completing the projects effectively. So let us learn about project management skills in detail. Here is an overview of project management. Project management is the art of managing all the aspects of a project from inception to closure using a scientific and structured methodology. Program management is defined as a department that centralizes the management of projects. What this means is that the PMO or the Project Management Office is a repository of all the projects that are being executed in an organization. Program management serves the Chief Information Officer, CIO, by providing him or her with regular status updates regarding the progress of all the projects in the company. Here are the objectives of this program. You will be able to understand what is a project and what is project management. This program will explain the characteristics of a project. It will explain the basic phases of a project and their purposes. Through this module, you will be able to learn what is a project life cycle, This program will describe the various project management techniques. It will also describe the various project management activities. You will be able to list the tips for managing stakeholders. You will be able to understand and learn the role of a project manager and of a team management during a project. Through this module, you will be also learning the behavioral models for project managers, the essential soft skills for the project manager, and the components of a project plan. This program will help you in describing the project manager's role in change management, and you will be able to learn the role of communications during project planning. So, let's begin with project management skills. According to PMBOK, that is Project Management Body of Knowledge, 3rd edition, a project is defined as a temporary endeavor with a beginning and an end, and it must be used to create a unique product, service, or result. Further, it is progressively elaborated. What this definition of a project means is that projects are those activities that cannot go on indefinitely and must have a defined purpose. Thus, the naming of the phases of a project depends on the kind of deliverables that is sought at each phase. So they are closely correlated with that of the project cycle. For the purpose of definition, the phases may be divided into the following classification according to the PMBOK. Number 1, initial charter. Number 2, scope statement. Number 3, plan. Number 4, baseline. Number 5, progress. Number 6, acceptance. Number 7, approval. Number 8, handover. A typical project is divided into several phases. Each phase of the project has its own importance and impact on overall success of the project. The following are the phases that make up a typical project: initiation phase, project definition phase, feasibility study, project execution, project conclusion. Let's look at each of these now in detail. While creating the Gantt chart, the tasks are represented by a line on a grid. One of the axes on the chart lists the tasks and the other axis shows the time frame. You should keep in mind that some of the tasks will need to take place before other tasks can happen. Also, on the other hand, some tasks may be completed before others, as well as may be done simultaneously with other tasks. Here are the components of project and stakeholder management. There are several components of project management that encompass the spectrum of project management. Right from the initial setting up of the project to the closure, each phase brings a new set of challenges and components to the art of project management. Specifically, the project manager has to manage the team and take bottom-line responsibility for the deliverables along with managing the stakeholders of the project. Behavioral models for project managers. Some of the behavioral models that can be applied to project management are: Number 1, Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Number 2, Herzberg's hygiene theory. Number 3, McGregor's theory X and theory Y. Let's take a look at all of these theories now in detail. Project objectives. Project objectives are defined in the preliminary project scope statement. As mentioned above, a project is deemed complete if the project objectives have been met. The objectives should be clear and achievable. During change management, the project manager has to make sure that the final requirements are obtained as soon as possible, the risks are identified upfront, a fine balance has to be struck between the objectives of the internal and the external stakeholders. Communications management during project planning. Communications planning involves identifying the information and communication needs of the stakeholders. This includes determining what needs to be communicated, to whom, when, with what method, and how frequently. This is a very proactive approach. The PMBOK guide often suggests work to be done in a more structured way than many project managers previously thought to do. Hence, the guide emphasizes a structured approach towards the art of project management.